Okay, I'd like to recount briefly what I think are a mysterious sequence of events that have recently occurred and get your comments, if I could. I got a book that has sacred geometry in it.
Yes.
And I started fooling around with some of the shapes, and then I had a dream that ended with me standing next to the building in Midtown Manhattan where the ball drops on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And there were a group of short, wide, dark beings wearing the same color blue that you have on, Art, in your commercial.
Oh.
Okay, here's the weird part. I went to the library, I got a textbook about geometry.
Yes.
And on page 21, lesson 4, definitions, decide which of the following statements are good definitions of the italicized words by determining whether or not their converses are true. If it's New Year's Day, then it's January 1. The answer is a good definition because if it's January 1st, it's a New Year's Day. And then right next to it, the following statement is a definition of extraterrestrial creature. An extraterrestrial creature is a being from a place other than the Earth. And then they have like the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the question is, in the dream, whatever they were, beings, were standing next to what could be described as the symbol of New Year's Eve, which is, you know, where the ball drops on New Year's Eve. They were standing right next to that. And then in this book, these two references are side by side, New Year's Day and extraterrestrial creature. And I'm thinking that maybe there's some meaning there that I'm not.
Well, maybe there is.
To get your input.
Let me ask Terence about it. Terence, it brings us back to the geometric beings or sentient beings, I guess, that you experienced with DMT. And, you know, there's an interesting question for you, and it is that I interview a lot of near-death experiencers. I interview a lot of people like Gordon Michael Scallion who have had some sort of physical trauma to their selves, and inevitably, near-death experiences, physical trauma followed by psychic ability. All of these people, Terence, talk to me about having seen geometric patterns and shapes that brought them an understanding they never had before. I know it sounds weird, but believe me, it's common. And isn't there possibly a common thread to your experience with DMT?
Yes, I mean, these journeys into these higher places, wherever they are, seem to demand mathematical metaphors. And, you know, people with no previous association with mathematics are driven to mathematical metaphors. William Blake, the English poet, talked about the spiral of necessity. And if you remember in the 10th book of Plato's Republic, there's this amazing passage called the myth of E-R, where this guy, who is a soldier, dies or he's killed in battle, and he lies on the battlefield 8 days dead, and then he revives magically, and he comes back, and he tells this story of what he saw in the underworld, and it is the most puzzling and amazing passage in the whole classical literature. He talks about the spindle of necessity, and he details the ratios of these various gears within gears. Let me say about the caller and his dream, the way I interpret much of what the material you deal with, Art, the weird experiences and the ideas people generate out of it, and
real quick,
public attention to all that, is that something is trying to be told. The universe is trying to reach us. All right,
we'll pick up on this. We're at the bottom of the hour, and I've got a break here. Clock says I got a break, so I got a break. We'll be right back.